Good day, everyone. Here I am in front of you. I'm Gwenalyn Hernandez, representing the problem strategies. So, we all know that we have different problems every day usually. So, multiple problems throughout the day. Sometimes these problems are straightforward. We need to resolve it as soon as possible as we can resolve it. So, we represent a problem whenever it is a complex mathematical problem or a broken figure. How do we solve it? So, before finding a solution to the problem must be clearly identified. After that, one of many problem strategies can be applied, hopefully representing a solution. So, and the problem strategy is a plan of action to find a solution. So, here is my storyboard. So, title niya is The Bakery Shop. So, year 2014, I have a dream that someday I have to make my own bakery shop in Manila and maybe all over the country. So, I started to use my imagination, a very big imagination. So, I started to think about everything on how do I start this kind of business. So what should I do? How can I start? Or where do I start? So I don't have any idea on what's going on. So my head was full of questions. I don't have any money to start a kind of business. I don't have the answers yet. So later on, my imagination was starting to flow. So I was wondering to start a baking pastry bread by myself. So in this situation, we need to identify the problem. First, the problem. So remember that we can only solve one problem at a time. So we define this as clearly as soon as possible. Again. So suddenly, I was shocked. I must think and sink into my head that I need more, I want more. So my head was starting to think. Me, myself, and I had an argue to have a brainstorm. So what can be done? So try to be creative when we are thinking. Try all the possibilities and outcomes to the problem. So think as many results as possible can. So I decided that my pastry bread are add some chips, cakes, cupcakes, and in this stage, I totally evaluate the alternative of once we develop a list of solution as a result, and it is the time to start thinking about the consequences of the ideas because it helps us to make a list of positive and negative outcomes for the potential solution. So, later on, I choose a solution. Later on, my imagination started to flow. I was wondering to start baking pastry bread by myself. So, in this situation, we need to identify the problem first. So, what is the problem? So, remember that we can only solve one problem at a time. We need to define it as clearly as soon as possible again. So, suddenly I was shocked. I must think and sink into my head that I need more, I want more. So, my head was starting to think. So, me, myself, and I argue. So, to have a brainstorm. So, what can be done? So, try to be creative when we are thinking. Try all the possibilities and outcomes to the problems. Think as many results as possibly can. I decided that my pastry bread add some chips, cakes, and cupcakes. In this stage, I totally evaluate the alternatives. So once we develop a list of solution or result, it is the time to start thinking about the consequences of the ideas because it helps to make us the list of positive and negative outcomes of each potential solution. Later on, I choose a solution. Of course, we need to pick the accurate solution that maximize the possibility of consequences and minimize the negative consequences. So I choose save to save money to buy and stock the materials that I needed. After we choose a solution, we need to try the solution, try out the ideas that we think and consider it. So the ideas that we have chosen and give it more the opportunity for it work. If this is not effective or rather it does not work, think about it why. Was there some consequences we didn't think or to resolve it? Or these are another conflict or problems in the way? So, try the solution. So, I tried to borrow some money in the family and friends to start my business. And of course, this one of my problems because at some point, the people we borrowed money, maybe they don't trust you anymore. So, the last thing that we can do is at first we failed to succeed. Try to another and don't give up. Because everything has a reason. Everything does not always work out the first time that we can learn from our mistakes. So, to help you choose a better solution next time, not only this is a strategy helpful for individuals not for mental health diagnosed such as an anxiety and depression, but it is also useful for anyone who encountered a problems or stressful situation. So, my second problem strategy, so I have the title, The Trial and Error. So, there was a student who named Natsumi. Natsumi, she was the only child. Her mother and father had to work every day. The routine of her life was not good enough. So, because her parents were not give her an attention, every time in the morning, he left up all alone. So, every time she wake up, their parents were not there for her. So, she needed an attention. She was the only one who eats their breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Herself and her pets is the only one along the house. So, one time, Natsumi and their friends had some fun. So, her parents had a rest day in the first time. So, Natsumi was arrived in the house was very late. Her mother was trying to talk to Natsumi, but Natsumi refused her mother because Natsumi had a resentment towards his parents for Natsumi, and her trust to them was not there. So the feelings of Natsumi is not good enough to show the actions of Natsumi. So she does not want to talk with her mother or father. So rather than that, Natsumi talks her friends or on what should they do. So what I'm going to do is her friends give her an advice that no matter what happened, her parents are still her parents. So Natsumi accept her friend's advice. She accept the opinion of the others. So she agree and arrange her relationship to their parents. So problem solving is a technique that is commonly used in everyday life. So whatever we are trying to manage a small problem, such as configuring out what to wear for the day or what outfit do you want to fit in or an accurate side. So, or you're trying to solve a larger issue. So, effective problem solving skills is important. So, With these problem strategies, we can easily identify on what problem that we are facing. Like for example, nowadays in this generation, the most common problem that I can see are the people who are not qualified to work that he or she wanted to be. So many people are not employed, or rather unemployed. So this is the biggest problem that I can see. And for me, the solution to this problem is we need to work hard, study hard to make our future be better. So we need to prove ourselves that we can make it, we can do it. So we need to be patient to achieve our dreams and goals in life. So, and the most important thing, we need to finish our studies or education. So, because this is the only way to have a good and better successful life. So, the another example for this topic, a well-known strategy is trial and error. Sa the old age, if at first you don't succeed, try it and try again. So describe trial and error in terms, example like a broken printer. So you could check the link, or rather ink levels, and if that is not work, you could check and make sure the paper tray is not jump, or maybe should I say the printer is not actually connected to our laptop. So when we using trial and error, we would continue to try the different solution until we solve our problem. So although the trial and error may not typically one of the most time efficient strategies, it is commonly used one. So another example, the expected functionality. So for submit button, it is the change entry entered should be submitted and saved. So if we submit the button na checkable, or then in a functionality error, functionality is the best way software intended to behave. If the behavior of the software varies from the effective output, then it is said to be a functional error. So, step to solve a problem. So, of course, we need to understand and read first and describe what are we looking for. So, what do you know? The second thing is need some plan, choose a strategy to come up with, also solve it. We need to show that all works at the same time. To make it clear, deliver our answer, solution. Last thing is check and explain, justify our solution. This is reasonable or not. So, there are some essential problem-solving tools that we can consider. So, these are few core and the best problem solver generally possessed, with the most important skill draw upon with engaging a problem solving process. So the first one is creativity. So this is the act of turning new imaginative ideas into reality. So it characterizes the ability to perceive the world in the new ways. So to find patterns, to make connections between seemingly unrelated phenomena, and it also to generate solutions. So creativity involves the process of our